Hello, welcome to CSC Sports. I'm your host, Jay Howard.
I'm Jerron Bland.
And we are the guys from CSC Sports. Most of you guys out there probably already seen us before and know about us. Today is a special day for us. We're doing a official playoff segment. We're going to talk about the whole entire NBA playoffs. I mean, everything from the Bulls, from the injuries, from the 76ers, from the Boston Celtics, San Antonio Spurs, Oklahoma City. We're going to talk about the whole shebang. Leading up to this point right now, with the San Antonio Spurs playing against the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Miami Heat going against their rivals, the Boston Celtics. Jerron, question. Let's start off with the Bulls. What went wrong?
Oh, well, that was Derrick Rose. I mean, losing your superstar like that in the first game of the playoffs is something that would be hard for any team to come back from. So when that happened, that pretty much ended their chances of going for a championship. So hard to recover from that.
You know what's funny to me? What's your take on Carlos Boozer? Did he give them their money's worth? Because I was one of the first guys last year, seriously, when a lot of people were talking about trading Carlos Boozer coming into this season, I defended Carlos Boozer. I said, you know what? They didn't pick and roll with him. He was injury prone. He was coming off a lot of injuries. So I say, a healthy season, healthy Derrick Rose. Thibodeau learned from his mistakes. Let's get it right this time. It didn't happen. I didn't see Thibodeau really making the adjustments as far as the pick and roll, using Boozer. I seen him do it more with Noah. What's your take moving forward? They went home in the first round. You know they need to make some adjustments for next season. Derrick Rose is injured. What's your take as far as with Boozer and Derrick Rose, or the point guard position? What do you think the Bulls will do next year?
Well, I think it's going to be a struggle next year. Like you say, Rose is going to be out. I think they said 8 to 12 months, so that means the earliest he'll come back would be like around All-Star break next year. So they're going to have to play with either C.J. Watson or go out and try to sign another point guard. But I think they might be in trouble, actually, because, like you say, Boozer, I was expecting him to step up once Rose went down, but he really didn't do that at all. He sort of regressed, and we didn't give them anything. They were actually benching him for Taj Gibson in some of those games. So he really didn't step up at all, and they're not getting their money's worth. They signed him to that big deal before last season, and he's really not stepped up and been the leader that everybody thought he was going to be. So I think in order for them to survive next year and try to salvage something from that season and try to make the playoffs again, he needs to step up, or else it's time for him to go.
I'll tell you like this. I don't want to harp too much on the Bulls. The Bulls are in trouble from a lot of standpoints. They're in trouble from a coaching perspective also with Thibodeau. I think Thibodeau is a great defensive-minded coach. I think he falls under the Greg Popovich Act in the Phil Jackson Act as far as believing in Larry Brown and Doug Collins Act also, with having the defensive presence to be his primary objective on the floor. You know, he wants his guys to play defense 48 minutes. I love him for that. But as far as X's and O's, I don't think Thibodeau is a great coach. I think Thibodeau is a guy, he's a good motivator, but he is not a great offensive-minded coach. And I think with the talent that the Bulls have and the holes they have in their offense, I think they are going to have to go out and get a good offense coordinator or somebody that can run their offense and create an offense with the talent they have, because they have so many holes in their offense. They don't have a lot of guys that can create their own shot. Derrick Rose is pretty much the only guy that create his own shot. And one other thing I don't want to leave out is what Thibodeau did far as getting all those players, like when he had Kurt Thomas, he had C.J. Watson, he had Cal Korver, he had Brewer. A lot of the guys even Mike James, a lot of the guys that he picked up, those were serviceable role players. I'm going to be honest with you. But he didn't get anything out of them. He actually made these guys look bad going into their free agent seasons. You know what I mean? So I think it's a lot of question marks with the Chicago Bulls. You know what I mean? Let's move on past the Chicago Bulls over to the L.A. Lakers. What's going to happen in L.A. next year? Going home, they beat Denver. Now they went home to OKC, got demoralized. What's the next move in L.A.?
Well, it's definitely going to be some changes. Some people were speculating whether or not Mike Brown would keep his job. I think that they should bring him back and give him another chance. He'll have a full training camp and a full off season to try to get his system in there and get guys to buy into the system. But I think they're going to definitely try to make some changes in terms of trades everybody's been throwing Paul Gasol's name out there. They tried to trade him this season. I think something's going to happen. Like, he's still a really good player, so there's going to be interest in him.
Damn good player.
Yeah, so he's going to probably be moved, and if they're smart, they'll get back a couple of pieces that they can use and throw right into the lineup. So I think he's going to move. They were talking about still trying to go after Dwight Howard for some reason. And I don't know, they made the trade for Ramon Sessions, but he proved in the playoffs that he can't really stick anybody. So they're going to have to address the point guard situation as well. So it's going to be a lot of changes in LA.
Jerron, let me tell you this, man. When I look at everything that LA did with the players that they had on that team and the coach they brought in, I don't blame a lot of it on what they brought in. I don't blame a lot of it on Mike Brown. I don't blame Ramon Sessions defensively. I look at it differently. I think with Kobe Bryant's greatness comes a flaw. He's hard to play with from the standpoint of his greatness. It's almost like how Michael Jordan needs to step out of the arena as being a GM or owner and just give up and just go somewhere and be a fisherman or something. Real talk, because he's not good with the Charlotte Bobcats. He's not doing them any justice over there. Kobe Bryant is a guy, by him being great, as he was like Michael Jordan's greatness doesn't translate to his players, is what I'm saying. He wants those guys to be like him. They can't. You are one in a million. You know what I mean? So you can't make DJ Augustine and Walker, them guys, become you. You're Michael Jordan. One in a million. You know what I mean? Kobe Bryant the same way. His work ethic, everybody doesn't have that work ethic. And it's amazing his work ethic, how his work ethic is. But Paul Gasol starting with him. Kobe Bryant swallows all of the juice he can possibly get out of Paul Gasol 2 years ago. Andrew Bynum, overrated. He's getting better, but Andrew Bynum is a jerk, flat-out jerk. You look at Ron Artest. Ron Artest has passion to play. He's a good basketball player. Steve Blake got decent passion. Suspect. You know, you don't know what you're going to get from him. They got Ebanks, a good defender, but he's not NBA ready. You look at Mike Brown. Mike Brown won 60 games with LeBron James, with less talent around LeBron, but he made it work. So what I start to question is, I can give all these guys as scapegoats, but when I look at why it didn't work, it comes down to Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, it's really time for him to leave LA. More than anything, if you keep everything LA have right now and just let that be the mess it's going to be, and move Kobe Bryant, it will be a more cohesive unit because those guys won't have anybody on the floor that's going to be pointing the finger when they miss a shot. He can miss 15 shots in a row, but they can't. And I think that's Kobe Bryant's greatest flaw right now later in his career is that he's used to winning and being in the postseason and getting the accolades. Now he's starting to see, like, you know what, the tables have turned. It's just like when they started beating up on Utah. Remember, Utah was the best team in the West for a couple of years after Houston won and San Antonio wasn't there yet. They was picking on the Lakers. The Lakers, Shaq was in the locker room. I remember that one postseason. He was like, Utah going down. down. They was singing, and they went out there and destroyed Utah. The same thing just happened with OKC and LA. You know what I mean? So I think the best thing for LA is for Kobe to pack his bags and leave and really ask for demand a trade and get out of there and let it be what it's going to be. What's your take on that?
That's going to be tough to do. I mean, I agree with some of the points that you made, but Kobe has one of those last big contracts. So I think over the next 3 years, he's going to be averaging like $30 million a year. So yeah, it's going to be hard for a team to take on that kind of salary, and it's going to be hard for the Lakers to fix some of the holes in their roster with him making that much money. And like you said, it's a lot of work to be done, but it's going to be a tough assignment for their GM and for their ownership to try to straighten that situation out.
I don't think it's tough. I don't think it's tough from a standpoint that if you want to build your franchise, you're going to need draft picks. And Kobe Bryant is the perfect bait to trade. If you trade Kobe Bryant, you know it's going to be 2 or 3 teams involved because of his salary. But I think you can make Kobe Bryant happy by making a trade with the Bulls. You can make other teams happy like the 76ers and stuff like that. And the Lakers really want out of that deal, they really want draft picks. Because when you keep making the playoffs, the odds of you, if you ever made a trade that's going to inherit some early round draft picks, you're going to be in trouble. Same way, not to deviate, but the Yankees in Boston, they have mortgaged off their youth for superstars. Now they're going to suffer, and it's going to be a long time before they get any quality picks. The Lakers are the same way. They're going to have to keep trading people to get younger. And I think right now in Kobe Bryant's career, he has to go for his own good because he's going to be on a team that's probably not going to make the playoffs next year. and he's going to be. It's just going to be a disaster to see the unhappiness on him and the fall from grace. So Kobe Bryant, if you hear me, demand a trade, man, and get up out of L.A. You did that town justice about 15, 16 years. I don't know how long you've been there, but you gave him everything. Now it's time to get the hell out. Let's move on to the Atlanta Hawks.
Man, that's a disappointing team for me. I mean, every year they have a lot of talent. They have good players on the team, but they get to the playoffs and they